But first, our top story shows how you can directly affect what happens in Austin. A petition delivered today will force the city to rethink its approach to ride-sharing services like Uber and Lyft.
A group handed 65,000 signatures to the city clerk challenging the new ordinance requiring fingerprint background checks for drivers.
KXAN's Sophia Beausoleil reports there are only a few more hurdles the group has to pass to get this issue up for a citywide vote.
Signed, stacked, and delivered.
I like Uber and Lyft because they get me somewhere where I need to be fast and I can track them.
Alex Pistavros is one of the 65,103 people to sign the petition sitting in these 6 boxes.
This means that the conversation continues.
The group Ridesharing Works for Austin is behind the 3-week campaign. Several nonprofits back the coalition funded by ride-sharing companies like Uber and Lyft.
We had an overwhelming response for our petition drive. It's clear that the citizens of Austin really have embraced ride-sharing here in Austin.
The group's goal? To replace the city's current ordinance with one that would not require fingerprint checks for ride-share drivers. What's next? The city clerk's office will have to go through those signatures to make sure people who signed are actual registered voters. Once that is done, City Council will then have 10 days to decide if they want to adopt the substitute ordinance or leave it up to voters who would decide in the next election, which is May 7th.
What I'm focused more on is us coming to a solution in this city that doesn't require any of our operating rideshare companies to leave.
Mayor Steve Adler won't say if he wants a revised ordinance or to have the voters decide. The mayor does say he's not exactly sure how, but wants a compromise when it comes to fingerprinting. Sophia Beausoleil, KXAN News.
And remember how we got here. The Austin City Council voted to phase in fingerprint background checks for Uber and Lyft drivers. At the city's December 17th meeting, that vote was 9-2 in favor of changes for ride-sharing companies. The mayor and these 8 city council members supported adding fingerprint background checks as a requirement. They represent districts 1 through 5, 7, 9, and 10. But Councilmember Don Zimmerman from District 6 and Councilmember Ellen Troxclair from District 8 were against the added restrictions. The City Council making these decisions is in office because voters signed a petition for change a few years ago.
KXAN investigator Kevin Schwaller is looking at the history of that signature gathering here in Austin.
Well, the whole makeup of the City Council today began with a petition. The 10-1 districting was a charter amendment. Tens of thousands of voters signed in support of that new system. Advocates first had to get those signatures verified. A city spokesperson said in this new transportation petition, the clerk will have to make sure it has enough signatures by taking a quarter of those signatures as a random sample. Now, I'm looking at how that petition worked a few years ago. Tonight at 10, I'll let you know if it has any clues for what's to come for companies like Uber and Lyft. Kevin Schwaller, KXAN, investigates.